TJ, you know how I start this show off. It is that time. Politicking while being black in America, living under MAGA. What you got for us this week? What is your petty grievance while living under MAGA?
All right. First, I want to say bold move with the voice memo messaging there. That could turn out some pretty interesting content. I love this idea. That might I can easily see the haters jumping on there and leaving some choice, which would make good content as well. Ironically, I do like when people leave like the nasty comments and stuff because it's just stuff that fuels us. It's great. Now, the politicking while black petty grievance that I have today, I don't know if this is permitted. So let me know if it's not, because this one isn't necessarily specific to black people. In fact, it probably happens to black people less than any other minority in the group. But you'll see what I'm talking about here. This weekend, I was early this week, I was out of my job, and there was an Asian woman who was with a company I worked with, or that I was working alongside. And a client that we were talking to was an older white gentleman, looked about 75 years old or something. He was actually retired from his position. He was filling in for someone else because he had the information we needed. And after we got done, we spent like 2 hours together getting everything we needed and stuff. As we were done, he went over to the Asian woman who was there and he says, "Oh, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name." And she said, "Oh, my name is so-and-so." And then he asked her, "So where are you from?" And yes, he said, "Where are you from?" And she's like, "Well, the Philippines, but I'm actually from this part of Indiana," or whatever, because she knew what he meant. And as I saw that, I thought, wow, that is I haven't seen that in a while. I actually haven't seen that in a while, where someone comes up to someone who's not white, who seems ethnic of some type, say, "Oh, hey, where are you from?" You can't say, "Oh, I'm from Kansas." Oh, I'm from Arizona. No, they mean, what country are your ancestors from? It's like, God, that is rude as fuck. Now, that could happen to black people too. It's probably less likely than like an Asian person or something, but it could. And so that one jumped out at me because it's some good old school racism that I haven't seen in a long time. Because I feel like because he was just almost 80 years old, maybe he hasn't caught on, but it's like, yeah, you can't do that, man. That's not cool. So that one's mine. It stuck in my mind all week. It's like, oh, I definitely got to mention this on the show.
Let's talk about that. That is racist and it's borderline. Yeah. I think there's some gray area in it because I think a lot of people have curiosity about people's background. So would a better way to approach someone like that to ask them, instead of saying, "Where are you from?" Could you ask them, "May I ask you, what is your heritage?"
Yes, yes.
And if they go into, my heritage is, Japanese, whatever, then you'll kind of get that answer. But I think people do have a curiosity if you're not from America sometimes. Where are you from? And I think that if you think so and you agree with it, I think a better way for those listening to ask someone that looks like they may not be from here, ask them what is their heritage first. Don't run up on them. Where you from?
Yeah. So I put a lot of thought into this because I made this mistake once.
Me too.
I'll never forget it. A friend of mine, one of my best friends in college, and I met his sister. And I didn't know it was his sister, I guess, because I knew her, my friend. And so, but their family was Guatemalan. And so I met her and I was talking to her and I asked her, "Where are you from?" This is 20 years ago or so, but I asked, "Where are you from?" And she said, "Oh, I'm from, this town." And I was like, well, that's not what. Then I said it again. I said, "Oh no, what am I doing? Well, what am I doing here?" And so I've never forgotten that. And I thought about this too, like, what's a polite way to do this? Now, I think there are levels you have to worry about here because if someone has an accent, it's a lot easier because like, "Oh, hey, where's your accent from?" That's easy. Boom. There's nothing rude about that whatsoever because, I obviously knows you have an accent. You're not going to deny it. Where did you pick it up? And then you can kind of decipher it from there. The worst version of that is asking, "What are you?" I've heard people say that before too. And I've never found a time when that was acceptable. But honestly, if someone doesn't have a discernible accent or maybe article of clothing, I don't know if there is a polite way. Because if it's someone I don't know, right? Maybe if I know this person, I could. But in that situation where he didn't know this lady, she didn't have an accent. There was nothing to say that, she wasn't born in the United States. And to say, "Hey, where are you from?" or even what your heritage is, that's kind of tricky. But it's like, well, who are you? Why are you asking me about my cultural background? So that's kind of tricky. But I think if there's like an obvious giveaway where it wouldn't be considered rude, that you could tell that this person was at least born somewhere else, there's a way around that. But otherwise, I don't know. It's kind of tricky. That's a good question, though, because you don't want to, it's nothing rude about trying to ask about someone, but you don't want to get too personal in the first meeting.
So the way that this was made aware to me, back in my day, in college days, I was real big into video games, and there was this young hottie who looked Asian.
Always. Look at that. Same situation.
At Best Buy, and I would always go buy my games, and every time I buy my games, somehow or another I get in her line. So we got to talking about what games I'd like to play, blah, blah, blah. And I asked her, I said, well, where are you from? And she bust out laughing. Because she knew I was asking, are you from Japan? You from Asia? You from Colombia? She's going to say to me, boy, I'm from Goldsboro, North Carolina.
There you go.
And I said, you know what I mean? And that's when she told me there's a better way. Now, I don't know if she's speaking for everybody, but in that moment, she said, there's a better way for you to ask me, where am I from? And I said, well, what is that? Ask me where is my lineage or my heritage is from. And she was like, that's not going to offend most people from Colombia. That's what she told me. And so from that day, if I'm in a grocery line, or if I have a server, or if I'm checking out, or someone's making small talk in the elevator and I'm curious about their heritage, I'll ask them, where does your heritage lead? Where does it come from? And they'll usually give you a good answer. And most people have been thankful that I asked it that way. So that's just been my experience. Yeah, but them girls get you in trouble, bro. and they'll teach you a thing or two too. So TJ, now we'll bring you to my petty grievance of the week, my politicking while being black, my brother, Lord Jesus Christ.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, TJ, my issue this week is the little dick energy coming from the fucking White House, going back and forth with Elon. This is supposed to be our highest office, and some would even say the most powerful office in the world. And you're up there going back and forth on social media with a man that you clearly knew was the way he was when you got there. Then y'all unfriending each other and shit. That is, if that's not little dick energy, I don't know what it is. And then the vendetta going back and forth. Real killers move in silence. They don't got to tell you their penis is big. They just run up on you and slap the hell out of you like it's some salami in aisle number 7 at Food Lion. But this petty beef between Trump and Elon, not only does it make us look, it makes America look bad, it also makes us look weak. It makes us look weak. It's embarrassing. This party and Trump and MAGA have been an embarrassment. And that's my petty grievance of the week. Why are we looking so petty and so weak that we have to go back and forth with a citizen online? Now, if I'm going between Elon and Trump, the expectation is that the Oval Office is going to set a better standard than a regular citizen. That's the expectation, but not when the occupant of the expectation has the mental capacity of a 5th grader. We shouldn't expect that. But either way, TJ, it's still bad. Tell me, am I wrong with my feelings of the little dick energy coming out of the White House, making us all look bad?
Well, if you'll pull up the tweet I have here, I just shared. Okay. This is from Jack Posobiec, and he disagrees with you, Lamont. He says, some of y'all can't handle 2 high agency males going at it, and it really shows. This is direct communication, phallocentric, versus indirect communication, gynocentric. I understand you aren't used to it. Now, Jack Posobiec is a disgusting right-wing grifter of the highest order, or the lowest order, I guess I should say. And so it's really funny seeing them trying to defend this. Actually, this isn't like 9-year-old girl behavior. This is full-grown man behavior. This is how 2 alpha males duke it out by subtweeting and passively aggressively attacking each other on 2 different platforms. By the way, that's what makes it so great. They're actually not talking directly to each other at all. Trump posts on Truth Social that he owns.
Lies Social.
Yeah. and Elon posts on Twitter, which he owns, talking about each other without talking, directly to each other. It's cowardly and it's weak and pathetic. I mean, you're correct. In most situations, people would expect the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, the most powerful person on the planet, to show a little class and dignity. But no one expects this from Trump. Like, this is exactly what we expect from Trump, and it's what we expect from Elon Musk too. And many people have said it. I'm not the first person since it's come out, but I don't want to hear another word about how women are too emotional to be in charge, about how women couldn't possibly handle the pressure of running business or leading a country when you have two grown men acting like this.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. I didn't want to use AOC's quote about the two girls or whatever her quote was are having a fit. But that's exactly what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know how you feel about our petty grievances. And if you've got one that's strong enough, you can leave it right here and we will play the petty grievance voicemail right here on the show next time TJ's here.